Hello and welcome to another update video about AVAX. I want to talk to you first here on the daily chart about the bullish and the bearish scenario. The bearish one is quite clear, and in the bearish one we need to stay below the all-time high to keep the idea of the yellow wave count, basically a bearish 1-2 setup alive, and then we should see a decline in a third wave, which could be impulsive, a 4 and a 5 and so on, to basically, new lows. This is the bearish projection, which I find quite likely. Yes, you can disagree, and also, I mean, we are in a bullish market, I know, so maybe it's not going to play out, which is why I also offer a bullish scenario. But the main idea here is, and the main benefit of Elliott wave is, it tells us exactly when the yellow count is going to be invalidated, and the bearish thesis has to be thrown out of the window. And the yellow count, which, as I said, is a 1-2 setup and so on, will be invalidated, with a break above the all-time high. But already, as indicated by the green arrow, which I've had on here for a while, will already be far less likely with a break above the $86 level. Okay, so there is some resistance for this yellow wave count, and it would typically not break above that. Okay, so if it's a wave 2 corrective rally, they can be aggressive also in crypto, especially if we are dealing with an impulsive C wave or something. But this wave 2 should not break above the $86 level. It can do. It's not an invalidation point, but I call it sometimes soft invalidation. It's not really official invalidation, but it just becomes far less likely than this yellow count. So, but above $86, the white count, in my opinion, will take control, which is a larger A wave. That would also explain the 3-wave structure in the beginning. A B wave down. I mean, visually, this clearly looks like a 5-wave move to me. But okay, maybe I'm wrong. You know, you can always wave counting is to a degree subjective. The Fibonacci levels don't lie, however. So I could be wrong with this assessment. I mean, this is not ultimately, it's not about being right or wrong in the analysis. It's about presenting levels, pivot points, and the trend. Okay, so there's no ego stuff here. Okay, so it's not about, oh, I predicted this or that, and, you know, it's right or wrong or whatever. No, this is about presenting you with the risk and the relevant support levels, resistance areas, and the levels you can use for trading, really. And the projections and targets, because in the white count, there is a realistic target of $495 in the bull market. Yeah, it's the 100% extension level there. So again, I could be wrong with that assessment of a 5-wave move down. It could be. I mean, if this is the white B wave, then it's there. See, there are so many options here that I could show you, because we have a 3-wave move up, so it allows for different interpretations. But it's possible, if this is a B wave pullback and we're rallying to new all-time highs, then this was likely a WXY pattern. Or a WXYXZ, that's also possible. But it could be that this was just ABC in wave W. Then this was an X wave, and then ABC in wave Y. So WXY. Possible, doesn't look right in terms of proportions. Or it would be like what I call sometimes a unicorn. These corrections typically don't appear, but maybe it did in this case. WX, YXZ. So it's a bit like the cheat code. You know, if nothing else works, you bring in this very complex corrective pattern. It's not reliable, so I normally don't use it. It's a 5-wave move. So again, it can also be the wave 1 to the downside. It could be, you know, it's a very exotic corrective pattern. Typically doesn't really show up, so I don't normally talk about it very often. I use it very rarely, and it could be, you know, possible. It's a cheat code. It's a bit like when nothing else works. But okay, you know, again, I could be wrong with that assessment of a 5-wave move down. That's why I give you the white count as well. We talked about that in previous videos anyway. And I give you a level where the white count will be preferred, which is above $86. Now let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. Here on the 4-hour chart, the price might be in the yellow count, might be working on this B wave pullback. So the idea could be A wave to the upside, then an A, B, C in a B wave, and then we could still get that C wave to the upside in the yellow count, which would complete this wave 2 corrective rally. Yeah, so that's sort of the bearish perspective, and we might just be working again here on a B wave rally. Again, not a very reliable wave count, but please be aware that a break below the most recent swing low could trigger the beginning of this yellow C wave within wave B. So I should have just reversed. 1 second. Okay. Anyway, yeah, okay. So this could be simply in this larger B wave correction from the high in December, an A wave down. We talked about that before. B wave rally, and it's now approaching this target area we talked in the previous video about for this move to the upside. Okay, and if this is an ABC, I think there's another few squiggles are missing. Could easily get to 43.75 next, and then possibly even 47.49. Ideally, in the yellow count, we would see a reaction from this area here, and then a move down, and a break below the $33.70 level could indicate the beginning of the C wave down. But if it's a 5-wave pattern that's unfolding here, well, that would also provide then a bullish structure, because it could be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, could be again another wave 1, then ABC in a wave 2. Then from there we could go. Okay, so that means if you want to be prepared for a bullish scenario, it might be reasonable, it might be wise. I'm not telling you to do it because, as you might have understood from the analysis, it could easily be bearish. So you have to make that call for yourself. But I think it would be reasonable, if anybody wants to go long, to maybe place a stop below that last swing low, because a break below that could send us down lower. Okay, so again, this could be part of that wide wave count, and push us eventually higher into the direction of 400 and what did I say, 490 or something over the coming months. But I'm not convinced by it, and I prefer the yellow count until I see a first 5-wave pattern followed by a 3-wave pullback, which would be the next clear long trade setup. So that's currently what I'm watching for. Especially the parameters are important next here between $43.75 and $49. I'd be watching for resistance there, and then possibly a decline below the last swing low. If we see, however, that it can hold another higher low and break above that area, maybe even to a new high above last year's high, then it would put the yellow count, I think, already into the background a little bit. But we would have to assess the structure then. Any 5-wave move up is a potential setup for higher prices. But I would need to look at, okay, how far did we extend and everything to give you the next support level then. That's my update about AVAX. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.